In the week that Mo Salah announces he'll be leaving Liverpool, the reports out there are swirling around that allegedly Arne Slot may be given another chance to succeed at Liverpool to next year, the head coach at Anfield. Big up to each and every single one of you that's already in the building. Do me a massive favor, people. Smash a like on the video if you're free to. And obviously, if you are new, do hit that subscribe button. We are on an incredible journey that hopefully will, at least for the foreseeable future, never stop. Hopefully. Fingers crossed on that score. Big up to each and every single one of you this morning. Like I say, do those things. Really greatly appreciated. Absolutely love and adore each and every single one of you for the love and support that you show the channel each and every single day. Also, get involved in the chat, whether you're popping in just to say hi, whether you've got some thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on anything to do with Liverpool Football Club or football in general, whatever you guys want to talk about, hit up the chat, people. Would love to hear what you guys have to say on all of these topics and more as the international break continues. We're talking mainly about Mo Salah and Arne Slot today. Mo Salah and Liverpool both announced that they'll be parting ways this week in what was an incredible bombshell of an announcement from both club and player. I put out a video when the news dropped. I said that it was understandable as to why. It did seem like this was inevitably going to end this way this season, given the way that Salah's conducted himself, the club have conducted themselves, and the way that the season's gone for both player and club. And then, conveniently, whether coincidentally or not, over the past 24 to 48 hours or so, news has emerged that there is a possibility, a world in which we are living in, that Arne Slot may be still the Liverpool head coach going into next season. Now, that comes obviously after this news. I don't know what is exactly happening at Liverpool right now, but there are conflicting reports on the Arne Slot stuff. So don't get too ahead of yourself in thinking that what the Independent especially, and I just want to get the gentleman's name right who wrote the article, Miguel Delaney, are reporting on is completely true. There are conflicting reports. And those reports that are conflicting with what the Independent and what a lot of UK-based reports are suggesting may have a bit more credibility than what the UK does. And we'll get into that a little bit later as to why. But like I say, big up to each and every single one of you. Abdul's already in the building. He says, hi, Captain Fletcher and chat. Big up yourself, bro. Hope you're doing well. He says, how are you? I'm good, man. I hope you are too. Smash the like and subscribe, people. Yes, do what Abdul says, people. Absolutely love and adore that. Thank you to each and every single one of you. What is going on with Liverpool this season? Clueless. Arne Slot players are not performing and FSG not sorting issues out. I didn't think we were this incompetent until this season played out. And now apparently we're incompetent. We've got a board who were so strong on multi-club ownership that they have now obviously decided to have those plans go up in smoke. They hired Michael Edwards for that multi-club ownership. Now that he's been sold a dream that isn't exactly happening, he seems like he wants to leave. Richard Hughes could be on the way out as well. We're ran poorly off the pitch, it seems, as well as on the pitch. We've got owners that have got business ventures that have got eggs in other baskets, shall we say. We've got a manager who is completely clueless and out of his depth. And we've got players that just aren't completely sold on what he is trying to do or what the club are trying to do right now. We're a total mess, bro. 7 draws and 10 losses in the EPL, knocked out of the EFL Cup, playing Man City in the FA Cup and also PSG in the Champions League. Getting Champions League spot for next season going to be difficult with our inconsistent form. You'll never walk alone. Look, I really hope that we can obviously, at the very least, get Champions League football. I know it's not the be-all and end-all. We have still failed no matter what in the Premier League this season. But I can't imagine us in the Europa League or, God forbid, in the Europa Conference League for next season. So I'm hoping that as the barest of minimums this season in what remains, we get the Champions League football that we need for next season. Do I think we'll get it? Probably not, given the fact that the 6 of our remaining 7 Premier League games this season are all against sides in the top 10. Not that it really matters where they are in the table, because we lose and draw to anyone and everyone, it seems. But we have got a very tough run of fixtures coming up between now and the end of the campaign, and it isn't going to get any easier or any better for us. But that is what we need as a bare minimum. Mo Salah leaving Liverpool end of the season. He must not be happy with FSG board and Arne Slot. We are not getting money for Mo Salah. Thank you for the memories and trophies. Absolutely. It's a strange situation, considering obviously what could have happened last year. If we'd have known about this drop off, we could have sold him for a hell of a lot of money. But it's understandable as to why. And not only that as well, but let's be real here. What he said back in, when was it, November? After the Leeds game? It's all come to fruition. It's all come to light. He was right all along. So people that were claiming he's wrong, people that were saying like everything he was saying was just completely stupid, completely untrue, whatever the case may be, you've been left with egg on your face, in my opinion. Arne Slot never collected with the club, the fans, the season being unacceptable. Slot man management is non-existent in games and performances, not good enough. Nothing will change with him in charge. It certainly feels that way, bro. It certainly feels that way. Something needs to change at Liverpool. This is getting ridiculous now. We are in an inconsistent form. Football is slow, boring, side-to-side pressing. We've said this all season, bro, haven't we? You've been here with us. You've said the same thing over and over again. I've said the same thing over and over again. A ton of other people that come in the chat every now and again and even consistently have said on repeat the exact same things that you and I and everybody else have been saying. It is becoming very repetitive, very boring. It's becoming Groundhog Day each and every single day. Losses to Palace 3 times, City twice, Galatasaray twice, Brighton, Forest, Brentford, Bournemouth, Wolves, PSV, Chelsea and United. Draws against Leeds twice, Arsenal, Fulham, Burnley, Sunderland, Spurs. This is unacceptable. All season performances, results, losses and draws have been unacceptable. Something isn't working. Ownership, head coach and players. I mean, look, there are a ton of symptoms and no one is blameless here. No one is having the finger of blame not pointed at them. But if you follow the trail long enough, the bulk stops with the manager. But even now recently, because of how our season has deteriorated, the finger of blame can be trailed all the way to the ownership for letting this happen for as long as it has. Rather than realizing the signs and killing it early, like a lot of fans did and wanted it to be killed early, they let this continue. They let this drag out for as long as what it did, or as long as what it is doing. And now there are reports out there that suggest that maybe they are going to give him another chance next season. I don't think it's necessarily true. But if it is, it's a massive, monumental, horrendous mistake. Big up Dean, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Fletch. Hope you're well. I don't like the heading to this chat. Salah goes and Slot stays. I really hope he doesn't. Me too, bro. Me too. If Liverpool doesn't capitalize on Alonso being free, then Liverpool will get this seriously wrong. This can't happen. I 100% agree again. I think there's a massive opportunity there for growth and for long-term growth. And Alonso is it could at least be a big factor to that. I think it's going to be a horribly missed opportunity if we don't get him in the summer, because it seems as though there are reports out there circulating that Alonso is not ready to take over right now, but in the summer. Now, the separate conversation to that is that if that is the case, why didn't Liverpool hire an interim till the end of the season? Gerrard, just to steady the ship a little bit. hopefully the Alonso thing that we're hearing is correct and that he is waiting till the end of the season. Slot goes at the end of the season. Alonso is hired a few days later or even immediately. Fingers crossed. I don't know if I can watch Liverpool for another season under Slot. Me neither, bro. Me neither. I would prefer Steven Gerrard to finish this nightmare season off than this clown, 100%. The football formation, style of play, performances are unacceptable. There's no fight, no toughness, no willingness to win, and they get bullied in games. Their small squad is outran and outfought, 100% true. The team will need a revamp, and we will be in another transition again in the summer 2026. We need left back, 2 centre backs, CDM, box to box, left wing, and right wing. Potential leavings are Woodman, Davies, Yaros, Robertson, Simicas, Scanlon, McConnell, Owen Beck, Gomez, Canate, Williams, Ramsey, Endo, Chiesa, Elliott, Bicetic, Salah, Gakpo, McAllister, and Jones. Giving points to rival clubs, does this head coach never learn from mistakes? Well, we've been saying that all season again, haven't we? We've been saying the same things, Abdul, over and over again. You are 100% correct in what you're saying. He doesn't learn. We've noticed that. The only time he does learn, or the only time he does change things up, is when desperation really comes to a head, such as Galatasaray in the second leg. As a prime example, when desperation hits, this guy decides, oh, I need to change things. He changes things. He gets a result out of it. People instantly forget about what's happened previously. People forget that we've been down this road before, and people instantly go to, oh, see, he's not all that bad. Well, just wait till the next game. And then inevitably, the next game happens. He reverts back to type. We drop points. We flop. We have a poor performance. It doesn't get any better. Where to start then? Should we start with Salah or should we start with the Slot stuff? We'll start with the Salah stuff. Mo Salah, thank you for each and every single minute that you have represented Liverpool Football Club for, whether it be on or off the pitch. You have carried yourself with incredible grace, passion, glory, resilience, everything. Like, I can't thank this guy enough for everything that he has done since he walked in day one at Liverpool Football Club. The guy is incredible. The guy is phenomenal. The guy is one of the Premier League all-time greats. One of European football's all-time greats, I think. I don't think it's wrong to say. I think one of is a fair assessment, considering what he's done for Liverpool, considering what he's done on a major level. And I think he's been disrespected by a lot of fans, even some that claim to be Liverpool ones. Certain rival fans have also somewhat disrespected him at times as well. I think he's been disrespected by a lot of the governing bodies as well. I think he deserves, or has deserved in the past, higher rankings in like FIFA Ballon d'Or contenderships and things like that. I think he's been extremely disrespected. And I think on some level, I actually think he's somewhat very much underrated, actually. I think considering what he is, where he is, or where he's been, and everything else that he's done over these past, just under a decade of being a Liverpool player, I think the guy is somewhat underrated and disrespected by a lot of people out there. He's simply sensational. He is simply sensational. This season hasn't exactly gone to plan for him or for Liverpool, granted. But even so, like, his numbers are just human now. His numbers are just human. That's it. Like, his numbers are just human. I mean, what are we looking at here? Let me just double check just to make sure I've got this 100% correct. His numbers this season are played 34, scored 10, and assisted 9 times. Now, the chances are is that he's going to hit double figures again in assists. So the chances are is that he's going to hit double figures in terms of goals and assists for Liverpool again this season in all comps. His goals have fallen off, obviously, in the Premier League. He's not in contention for another golden boot. But again, it's just that is it. It's just that. It's just he's become human. I think there are other mitigating circumstances. There's the Arne Slot effect for a start. That hasn't helped. There's him getting a year older, which I think has also contributed a little bit to that. What else? Like, I think there is a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to digest with Mo Salah. There's a lot there to look at with Mo Salah and go, there's a reason why he has dropped off the way he has done. But just to compare it, if we can, to a certain Bukayo Saka. Saka's played 42 this season. He's scored 9 and he's assisted 7 times. And apparently he's having a great season. Recently, I think Arsenal fans are getting a bit annoyed with him. But you see my point. A lot of Arsenal fans now seem to think that Saka's now the best right winger in the Premier League. Sorry, but even in Salah's worst season, he's still managing to outscore Saka in all comps, in less games. Even in the Premier League, Salah's got 5 goals and 6 assists. Saka's got 6 goals and 5 assists. So Salah's numbers are just more human this season than his previous high standards. If anything, he is a victim of his own success. Obviously, I know that being on 400k a week doesn't exactly play into the whole narrative, and a lot of people are going to be looking at that and demanding more, and we have all demanded more from Mo Salah this season. There's no doubt about it. But again, you look at the overall team. The overall team is down and low on morale and low on confidence and not playing very well, and Slot's style of play is completely useless, and yeah, lots of things like that haven't exactly gone to plan. There's no reason why we should just single out Mo Salah. That's obviously horribly wrong, but that is obviously the case by some people. I'm intrigued as to where he goes from here. Everyone seems to think Saudi. I myself have thought about Saudi. He'll go there, and I think inevitably he will do. But I still think maybe for a year or two, there is a good possibility that he could go to somewhere like Serie A. He could go to maybe Ligue 1, potentially. Then again, I think only PSG would manage to tie him down, and I don't necessarily think he'd fit in at PSG, to be perfectly honest. But somewhere where the league's a little slower, maybe. I think maybe less physical, potentially. I think maybe he would fit in wonderfully still. I still think he's got something to offer at the top end of the game. Still think he's got a lot to offer big teams from across Europe. And I still think he himself has the mentality and mindset to play for a top club in Europe. I just don't think it's Liverpool, simply for the reason that he's fallen out with the club this season. He seems to think that they didn't want him there. They reluctantly gave in to him signing a new deal. because they wanted to move him on in the summer. Then he forced them into a position where they could not get rid of him because he was on such a high that there was absolutely no way they could get rid of him on a free that year after having that season. And not only that, but the fan backlash would have been massive. So I don't think Liverpool... So I think what he basically said in November was true. Someone was throwing him under the bus. Someone wanted him out of the club. That's why I said at the top of the video that what he said in November is now resonating to be true in the long run. I think there is an element of truth to what he was saying back then, to the point now where we're in the final international break and this news drops. The timing's incredible. I said in my reaction video to it that I wonder if this is an element of trying to get it out there so that Salah can control the story. I wonder if it's an element from the club as well to seemingly get fans behind the team going forward into the run-in to the end of the season, to try and uplift the team, try and give Salah a good send-off, try and rally around the team to give them some sort of positivity towards finishing the season on a high and using it to sort of protect the club a little bit more than what they have done this year. I wonder if maybe that's played into it as well. Sort of like the Jurgen Klopp thing a few years ago where he came out early, he said he was going to be leaving the club, and the overall aim of that was to obviously get the story out there and to kind of give fans time to come to terms with it rather than just drop it on people at the end of the season or whatever. But it seemed also to sort of rally the fans around them and rally the fans around the club that, go on, let's get this Premier League title for Jurgen Klopp in his last year. Let's rally behind the club, rally behind the players. I wonder if there's an element of that when it comes to this whole Mo Salah situation. Right now, I wonder if that is potentially the case when it comes to this. But yeah, it's emotional. It's going to be sad when it comes to the end of the season. Salah deserves his flowers. Salah deserves to have his kind of last dance in the sunset kind of thing. I just wish it was under better circumstances for him. I really, really do. I wish it was under better circumstances. I wish I could say, like, this guy is going to go out on an all-time high. I wish I could say that this guy is going to go out there and he's going to win the Champions League, and he's going to go out there and he's going to win the FA Cup. He's going to win 2 big trophies on his way out of Liverpool Football Club, and he's going to go out an absolute hero. He's going to go out an absolute icon, an absolute legend, and he will forever be known in Anfield history and folklore. And the guy is simply sensational, to which he is. But unfortunately, he's not going to go out on an FA Cup. He's not going to go out on a Champions League because I don't trust the manager and I don't trust the way that he is set up and he's played and everything this season. So, unfortunately for Salah, he's not going to be going out as a winner. It's going to be an unfortunate end to what has been a sensational career at Liverpool Football Club. The last player, other than maybe like a Kevin De Bruyne, maybe, who has been at a club for a lengthy amount of time and been ever so consistent. Ever so consistent. Like, his consistency has known incredible bounds. His success rate has been unbelievable. The records broken. The accolades won. The personal awards he has won or been nominated for. And then overall, the things he has won and been a crucial cog in the machine, whether it be in a Jurgen Klopp setup or whether it be for Arne Slot last season. Mo Salah was truly sensational. And given the way that this season's gone, it makes us treasure last season even more. Now, I've always said that Slot does deserve praise for what he did last season, and I still stand by that to a certain degree. But given the way that things have gone this season, and given the way that obviously Salah has gone more human this season than what he was last year, it makes me appreciate that Salah season even more. And it makes me think that while Slot does deserve some praise for what he did, because let's be real, that's the same side that, you know, that Klopp had. He couldn't quite get them over the line. He ran out of energy. He couldn't do it. Arne Slot came in. He tweaked a few things. He said to Ryan Gravenberch, "You're going to now be our main DM." It worked. He hid some players' weaknesses. He enhanced some players' strengths. Mo Salah just took the mantle and went, "I'm going to be your guy. I'm going to be the main man." And that's exactly what he did. And that is a massive, monumental reason as to why we went on to win the Premier League last season. And again, the disrespect for, what was it, a 4th or 5th place Ballon d'Or finish this past year? He deserved to be higher, man. He really, really did deserve to be higher. But it is what it is in terms of that score. But look, big up to Mo Salah, man. I hope wherever he goes, whatever he decides to do, he is happy and he is loved wherever he goes, because the guy deserves it. And you want to know what the ultimate sign of respect is for such a player? The ultimate sign of respect for a player is that if you went on social media, if you went to any rival fan when the announcement dropped that Salah would be leaving at the end of the season, regardless of what happened this season, and obviously with the exception of a few fans that still don't like him for whatever reason, the vast majority of rival fans are happy to see him gone. Now, it might sound weird to say that that is an ultimate sign of respect, but that is when you know that you are that damn good, because rival fans are happy to see the back of you. Rival fans are happy you're gone. After torturing Manchester United for years, scoring screamers against Chelsea, torturing Tottenham consistently, scoring goals against Arsenal, whatever the case may be, against any and every club. When rival fans are happy to see the back of you, you know you made it as a proper footballer. You know you made it. Like when Norwich, for example, were happy to see the back of Luis Suarez, or, the Premier League as a whole to go to Barcelona. That kind of thing. You know you have made it. You know you have made it. And that is the ultimate sign of respect, I think, from rival fans in a way that may not sound the most respectful, but if you read between the lines and you look beyond it, it is respectful. It is. So big up to Mohamed Salah. What an absolute diamond of a player he is, was, and will be. Thank you, Mo, for the memories. He's been amazing. He simply has. He simply has. We won the league last season. If it's not broken, why try to fix it? Only Slot knows, and Slot is not saying as to why. Only Slot knows, and he's not saying why. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy that we had a very good formula last season. We had a very good formula last season. And then this season, we decided to rip up that formula and go for something completely different. Now, as to Mo Salah's replacement, obviously there's a lot of talk about Michael Olise. The overall consensus seems to be that he'll be open to joining Liverpool if Liverpool get Champions League football. So, yeah, a lot riding on this Champions League qualification than just Champions League football, it seems. I don't know, man. Like, I think it's true. I think if we get Champions League football, we stand a better chance of signing Michael Olise. We were in this situation last year with Isak, except we'd already won the league by this point last year. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's as much as I would love Michael Olise at Liverpool, as much as I would love and adore Michael Olise at Liverpool. I don't think it's happening. I don't think we're getting I'm struggling to see how and why we get Champions League football this season. I'm not entirely convinced. I think we've got a decent chance, but I genuinely don't know if we will or not. I genuinely don't know. But that's what seems to be the overall consensus. Get Champions League football, and we have a good chance of signing Olise. I don't know if that's going to entirely be the entire story. And even then, I'm not entirely sure as to who our alternatives are. Because the right winger market isn't great. It's not great beyond the obvious of like Lamine Yamal and Olise. The right wing market, it's not exactly crying out with some standout performers or some incredible potential. There is obviously the potential of Barcola, but more of a left winger in all honesty. And to be honest, with the way that Gakpo is, he's terrible. So anything on that left side is an improvement. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what the right wing market is saying. I don't even know who we go for, to be honest, if it isn't Michael Olise. But we've seemingly put our eggs in the Michael Olise basket because there's no one else that's seemingly crying out. There are wingers that can play on alternative sides and everything like that. But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see what the future holds for that right wing position. Michael Olise seemingly is the top target. That's pretty obvious. It's not exactly like it's breaking news or anything. But at the same time, in saying that, I'm sure if we don't get Champions League football, he'll have no shortage of options elsewhere. And not only that as well, but let's be real, people. Would he want to come to a Liverpool side playing the way that we are doing right now with Slot if he is to stay? I don't think he will. But I don't know. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Says, who made the decision to let Diaz leave? Diaz. Diaz made the decision to make Diaz leave. He wanted to leave the year before. And we said, give us one more year. We gave him one more year and then we let him leave. Simple as that. He wanted to leave. We wanted to move. We wanted to move on as well. It was seemingly more on Diaz's side, I think, than a mutual decision, but eventually it became a mutual decision. So, yeah, both. Diaz is a far better player than Olise. Come on, bro. Don't talk nonsense. Don't talk absolute nonsense. We all know that's not true. I don't think it's much to do with football, why Salah is leaving, from what I hear from rumours. There is a huge divide inside Liverpool at the moment due to religious differences. I mean, it'd be crazy if that was true. I don't necessarily think it would. I think there is a divide, but I don't think it's over religious differences. Hope you're doing well anyway, Bush Baptist. Long time no see, my bro. I just think it's back to what he said in November. I think it is genuinely a case of he feels the club are throwing him under the bus. They wanted him gone. They reluctantly agreed to sign a new deal, partially because they couldn't have a player that had the incredible, phenomenal season that he did last year leave on a free transfer. They also didn't want to risk the fan backlash, potentially, of what not signing Mo Salah would have been like. So they decided to eventually reach a decision for Salah, and now they're paying the price for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to turn it on the fans, like, you did this. You made us do this. Said before, and I'll say it again. I would rather have a club that at least makes the smart decisions rather than a club that just caves into fans all the time. Because sometimes fans don't see the bigger picture. Sometimes fans don't see the ins and outs of everyday to-day life in a football club. Now, I don't think anybody could have really predicted the Salah drop-off, so it was probably right to do it. But in hindsight, obviously wrong. But that's why hindsight's so lucrative. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Big up Joey, who's in the building. Hope you're doing well. Says Valencia, dude. Really, I got it in a mystery shirt, bro. I got a mystery shirt box. It came with Valencia shirt. It's not bad. It's not a bad shirt. Then Gary Neville, coach at Valencia. I don't think Valencia fans would like you talking about that, to be honest, bro. Don't think they'd like you talking about that, to be honest. Dark days at Valencia back then. Gary Neville went to Valencia and made sure in the small time there he was never going to manage again. I wonder if we will ever see Neville back in a managerial role. So weird. Big up Reluctant Gamer is in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Glad that you're here with us. Talk to me about some Newcastle, my dude. What is going on with your club right now? Talk to me some Newcastle. Very much a yo-yo-y type of season. Big defeat against Sunderland last weekend. Not great. They've done a double over you this season. I think Salah would have stayed if we changed the manager. I seriously believe that. I'm not so sure, you know, because like I said, I think Slot's going in the summer. I am more convinced now than ever that I think Slot is going in the summer. And I think, like, obviously, the club are going to have more of an insight into things than fans are, and they're going to know a bit more than what fans are, and they're obviously going to reveal more to them than what the club is to journalists and fans alike and stuff. I think he's going to be off in the summer. I think this is just what Salah wants. I think Salah just wants a clean break. I think Salah wants away from Liverpool. I think he's fallen out with the club to the point where he just doesn't want to be there anymore. And it's not on the fans. It's not on his teammates or anything like that. I just think it's on the club. I think the club has forced Salah out here because why else would we be selling Salah for nothing in the summer after giving him a 2-year contract and put him on 400k? Salah could easily just sit in the reserves on 400k a week. He doesn't want to do that. The club could hold him to ransom and go, well, we're not selling you unless we get a valuation met of 100 million. But the club aren't doing that. So clearly there's been some sort of mutual agreement that Salah will give up the final year of his contract. Liverpool don't need to pay him off or anything like that. Frees up the wage bill for that year. And Salah gets a clean break and he can go wherever he wants on a free transfer. No fee needs to be agreed. Nothing needs to be negotiated. He gets to go wherever he wants on a free transfer. And that opens up a world of possibilities. Because if Liverpool had said, we're going to slap £100 million price tag on you, with the exception of maybe PSG, obviously maybe a team like Real Madrid, but Real Madrid wouldn't pay that money for a 33-year-old, 34-year-old player. Maybe a Bayern Munich. With the exception of those three teams, there's no one across Europe that would pay that money for him. No one across Europe that would pay that money for him. And even then, Bayern wouldn't pay... Real Madrid wouldn't pay the money for a 33, 34-year-old who's only probably got 1 or 2 years left at best playing at the top level. PSG... it doesn't quite fit their criteria anymore. If this was the PSG of about 4 or 5 years ago, they would be all over this. PSG would have been all over this, but they're not that team anymore. They've got a different model in play. Luis Enrique has definitely changed the game over at PSG. That's not who they are anymore. Bayern Munich potentially could, because it's Bayern Munich and they could do whatever the hell they wanted, especially when it comes to their own domestic league, because let's be real, the challenge isn't to win the domestic league with Bayern Munich, it's to win the Champions League. So it's certainly a possibility that he could go to Bayern Munich. If that is the case, that would probably be the biggest club in Europe that would take him, right now at least. But I think he probably goes back to Serie A or something. I think he could certainly go back to Serie A, and you could probably take Juventus. You could go to maybe even like an Inter or something, or an AC Milan, or somewhere in that region. Like, link up with Kevin De Bruyne at Napoli even. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, he could certainly go anywhere in Serie A. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he does go. But I have to somewhat disagree with that statement that I think he would go if the manager changed, because I think the manager is changing in the summer. And I think everybody at the club probably knows it, but obviously doesn't want to say anything just in case either A, it doesn't happen, or maybe the club have told them to be quiet about it, or maybe the club haven't reached a decision yet, or whatever the case may be. But there's no way that this Slot thing can continue going into next season. Absolutely no way. My dad was a Newcastle fan, and like he used to say, we are a small team at a big ground in a big football city, is what Bushwhatter says here. I like Newcastle, man. I like Newcastle. Newcastle's great. Some of your fans are quite weird. But for the most part, it's great. Do you think Salah could go back to Roma? Possibly. There's a possibility he could. Like, I would, if I was to bet right now, where Salah would end up, it would probably be back in Serie A. I think he's going to go Serie A for next season. If I was a betting man, that's where I would bet he would go. I don't think he'd go Liga. La Liga's a possibility, but I don't know where he'd fit in. I don't think he'd fit in at Barcelona. Don't think he'd fit in at Real Madrid right now. Atletico could be a possibility, but I don't know. I don't know if that would suit him or not. Elsewhere in La Liga, probably not. Serie A would be the only place in Europe where I think he could go. Other than maybe Bayern Munich, like I say, I think he could go Bayern Munich. I think for a year or two, he could be a Michael Olise replacement until someone emerges that buy and go, right, we'll take him and we'll make him the next big thing. I think that could genuinely be a possibility. Genuinely be a good possibility for Salah there. Big up Alpha's in the building. Says, I can see you guys. I can't see you guys winning the Champions League, so I think you would just have to focus on the Prem and FA Cup. You know what, bro? I can't see us winning the Champions League either, and I certainly can't see us beating your lot in the FA Cup. So all we've got really to fight for is Champions League for next season. And even then, I'm struggling to see how we get that when we face 6 of the top 10 teams in our remaining 7 games. I'm struggling to see how that how we get that, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Salah goes to the league that suits him, that suits his age. I'm saying he's finished, but he's definitely lost half a yard of pace, other than Italy or Saudi. Yeah, I think he will go Saudi eventually. I just think he's got a year or two left in him, in which he could probably spend in Serie A, where the pace is not quite as intense as the Premier League. The physicality is not quite as demanding as the Premier League. I think Italy is a perfect place for him, in all honesty. Similar to what Kevin De Bruyne is doing. Kevin De Bruyne did the exact same thing. I think it's somewhat similar. If FSG lets Slot stay for next season, it will be the end of FSG at Liverpool, because the fans won't allow that to happen. Big up Gersten, who's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Yeah, I mean, it brings us on nicely to the Arne Slot stuff. So I find it a bit coincidental that the whole Salah situation blows up, and then over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours afterwards, news emerges that Arne Slot could be staying at Liverpool for another year. The news really spanned from the Independent and from Miguel Delaney, who reports that due to mitigating circumstances, the club chiefs are believing that those factors could have helped towards a disappointing campaign for Liverpool, which may mean that Arne Slot gets another opportunity at keeping his job at Liverpool going into next season. Now, I would love to know what these mitigating circumstances are. Let's just say that what he's reporting on is genuine, because let's be real here, people. The club aren't exactly going to come out and go, yeah, he's gone at the end of the season. Like, no matter what happens, he's gone at the end of the season. The club aren't going to come out and go, yeah, it's very unstable right now, but we're going to stick with him for now, at least. Maybe in a week or two's time, who knows? They're not going to say anything like that. What they are going to say is exactly what they're reporting on right now, in which his job is safe and they're assessing options for next season, but it's likely he will stay. They're not going to say anything other than he will stay. Every single time a manager gets sacked, no one comes out of that particular club and goes, his job's hanging in the balance. They always say that he retains 100% confidence from the board. So take what the reports are saying with a pinch of salt. They're saying mitigating circumstances. And again, I would love to know what these mitigating circumstances are. Again, according to Miguel Delaney, those mitigating circumstances include injuries. Sorry, but to my knowledge, we haven't had that many injuries. We've had a fair few injuries this season and a few unfortunate ones. But we haven't had as many as, say, I don't even believe what Arsenal did last season. And we were calling them out for using injuries as an excuse as to why they dropped off last season. They use injuries. They use the passing of Diogo Jota. I think that's all he really commented on. So, 2 mitigating reasons. They actually do use Diogo Jota's passing, which is just crazy to me. Like, I understand it is very upsetting, and obviously it's still going to have an effect on the players. But at the same time, why are they using it now? Why are they using it now? It's unbelievable to me that would even be used as of right now, just to sort of protect this manager. Because let's be real, people. Like I say, the injuries have happened, but guess what? Every team's had injuries. We even had injuries last year. We had injuries last year, and we still managed to win the league. So that's complete BS right off the bat. I didn't realize we turned into Arsenal by making excuses. I didn't realize we turned into Arsenal because of that. Making excuses. That's not our kind of thing, is it? That's an Arsenal thing. That's what Arsenal have been doing for the past several years. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But you get my point. What the hell are we doing? Mitigating circumstances. Ridiculous. Is it mitigating? Understandable if we were second. If we were second or third and we missed out on the Premier League title by a few points or a point or some goal difference, ridiculousness, or whatever the case may be, fine, fair enough. Throw those excuses out. I'll still call it out as being BS and whatever. But at the same time, I would go, I don't necessarily care because we were close. We were close. One more year with maybe one or two more players. Yeah, we could probably win it again the following year. Fine, whatever. But we've fallen so far. Is it mitigating circumstances that Man United are above us? Is it mitigating circumstances that Aston Villa are above us? Is it mitigating circumstances that Everton are 3 points behind us and have all the possibility and potential in the world of actually finishing above us this season? The same with Brentford. Hell, even Fulham could at the end of the season. They're not too far away. Is it mitigating circumstances that we may miss out on Champions League football altogether because this bald-headed fraud has just decided to absolutely capitulate our season? Capitulate this squad that Jurgen Klopp built? These are not mitigating circumstances. These are the faults of a manager who is completely out of his depth, out of ideas, and is in the mud. And a club who have allowed this manager to do this to this football club. You had a model, you had a system that worked, and you allowed this guy to come in and go, we're going to change everything. We're going to change everything from being successful to being a failure. That's not mitigating circumstances. That's the club being incompetent. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't realize we were that incompetent. I did not realize we were that incompetent until this season has played out. And then I watched as a season in which started with a lot of hope, a lot of excitement, and a lot of optimism, with an incredible transfer window, the likes of which no Liverpool fan has ever seen in their lifetime happen to their club, take place, only for the entire season after 5 games completely then go off the rails, the wheels fall off, and a complete and utter train wreck occurred in which we are losing points in the 90th minute and beyond consistently, in which it doesn't matter where you are in the table, it doesn't matter what run of form you're in, you are likely to take points off of us because we are useless and incompetent both on and off the pitch. It doesn't matter if you are a rival in Chelsea or Manchester United. It doesn't matter if you're a tricky team to face like a Crystal Palace. You'll still play us off the park. You could be down in a relegation dogfight like Nottingham Forest. You'll still slap us up 3-0. You could come to Anfield as PSV and absolutely destroy us. You could be Bournemouth and win a game in the 90-plus minute. You could be bottom of the table Wolves and manage to beat us. You could even be Tottenham, who have not won a game in 2026 and are staring relegation in the face. And you still manage to get a point off of us. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. It doesn't matter how you play. Low block, high press, long ball, short ball, side to side, set pieces, throw-ins. Doesn't matter how you play, what you play. You're likely to get something out of us because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. We struggle against everyone and anyone. Every now and again, we'll put in a decent performance. Every now and again, we'll get a good result. 9 times out of 10, that only happens because Slot decides to just forget everything and go back to what made us good. That's 9 times out of 10 what happens. This is Eric Ten Hag settings. This is Manchester United settings. And I, for one, am certainly not here for it. I'm really, really not. Like I've been saying all season long. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. It says Barca, best team in the world. Valencia, trash. Yeah, just found the Valencia shirt today. Just put it on. So, yeah. I'm good with Barcelona. I'm cool with Barcelona. I know it's off subject slightly, but what do you think of Chiesa being sent back home by Italy? Just for being unfit. He was just unfit, wasn't he? Allegedly. So, again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on at Liverpool, but our players look exhausted. Our players look done after 50 minutes against Brighton. Brighton didn't look like they broke a sweat. I know that we're playing 2 games a week over Brighton, but how the hell are Brighton fitter than us? How the hell are Brighton running more? How is every team running more than us this season? I think, wasn't it something like in only 5 games this season, we've actually only outrun our opponents in those games? Every other game this season, they've outrun us. That happened. That statistic seemingly happens every single time we drop off in a season. I think it happened after we won the league previously, and I think it happened after we'd gone for the quadruple. Like, why? Why does that happen? The way the fans will welcome Klopp tomorrow at Anfield and sing his song and make some chants that will actually show what the fans think of Slot makes us appreciate him more. Makes us appreciate Jurgen Klopp more. Arne Slot can't get back into form and manage these current Liverpool players this season. Do you think we should change the trend and get a manager that doesn't wear tight black jeans and white trainers? It's like there's a factory creating these tactical flops, is what Bush Baptist says here. Liverpool's next 5 games: City, PSG, Fulham, PSG, and Everton, is what Abdul says here. You reckon Salah will go Saudi? I think in the end, Marco, big up to you, by the way. Hope you're doing well. I think he will eventually. I just think that with the way that his agents come out and said, like, don't assume anything, or only we know our next move, that kind of thing. it kind of makes me think that Saudi's seemingly too obvious. And why wouldn't you just announce that you're going Saudi straight away? Because that's where everybody thinks you're going anyway. So, I mean, they still could. That could still be the possibility. Either Salah doesn't know himself yet, or maybe there is something that is being lined up that is somewhere in Europe at a top level. And maybe Salah's going there. And like I say, I think Serie A is the perfect fit for Mo Salah going forward. James Milner and Brighton bullied Liverpool. Yeah, James Milner, Pascal Gross in the middle of the pitch, bullied. Minte on the left was a constant outlet. Danny Welbeck bullied our two centre-backs at 35 years of age. Yeah, they all did. It was dreadful. It was dreadful to watch. All our history, we have let our natural rundown. Sorry, my eyes. All our history, we have let our natural run down the wings. Now we just pass it back like everyone else does, just so possession is kept. Set piece FC, bro. Set piece FC and hope the opposition make a mistake. That is how we play our game now. Reluctant Gamer says, I think Slot is given. I think Slot in given him a rebuild chance, and if he's not challenging for the title within 10 games, then decide. The problem with that is I don't want to get 10 games into the season before I realize, oh, this is another dreadful season. We're going to have to write it off again. I don't want that. Especially considering that the next season is probably going to be the final season of both Alisson Becker and Virgil van Dijk. Them two are probably going to have their final season next year, and then Van Dijk will probably go back to the Netherlands or something for maybe a year or so, see out the rest of his career, and Alisson will probably go back to, he could go back home to Brazil maybe. Again, a goalkeeper's career spans a little bit longer than that of a player, so he could pretty much go wherever he wanted. He could go back to Serie A even, potentially. He could go wherever he wanted. But I don't want to go 10 games into another season and think this is another write-off of a season. I want to go into the season next year and I want to be like, right, I'm looking forward to this season. We may not win the title next season, but I'm looking forward to us playing better, us competing for the title, and maybe us competing on other fronts as well, like whatever European competition we're in, if we're in one, like the FA Cup, like the League Cup. I want to see some competitiveness back in my team again. Klopp had a season where he didn't qualify for Champions League. Yeah, he did. And again, that season wasn't great. But the strange thing about it is, have you guys noticed, like, there are a lot more people that are supportive of Arne Slot than they are Jurgen Klopp. When Klopp had a bad season after we won the league, no one was saying injuries, even though we had no centre-backs for half a season and we had to play Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak as well as Reece Williams. No one gave Klopp leeway in that season. He came back the following year and he bounced back with a vengeance. We were so close to winning the quad. 2 games away from winning the quad. The following year after that, we dropped off again because our midfield fell apart. The midfield completely lost its legs. Fabinho had dropped off massively. Henderson had dropped off massively. And again, people were on Klopp's case. I questioned Klopp a little bit. I'll admit that. I questioned him a little bit. I don't remember being Klopp out. But I did question him. And I feel like I was right to do so. And I feel like anybody is not above being questioned. This cold man is doing my head in. Sorry. I do apologize. But at the same time, a lot of people did not give Klopp any leeway. And yet, he had a lot more credit in the bank than what Slot has. Granted, he's been there longer, Klopp, and obviously he won a lot more. But there's a lot more people that are defending Slot than they are Klopp right now. And I find it so strange. I find it so strange that that is the case. And no one was giving Klopp these mitigating circumstances as to why Liverpool have dropped off. No. No one gave him that leeway. But Slot apparently has any and every excuse waiting to go for him. It's bizarre. It's bizarre that some people have been like that this year. At least with Klopp, when things got bad, it wasn't through a lack of desire. It wasn't through a lack of hunger. It wasn't through a lack of determination. It wasn't like the players stopped believing in him. The reason Liverpool dropped off in those 2 years, especially, was because players in certain positions either couldn't go anymore or huge amounts of injuries. Like I say, we had to play half a season with Ozan Kabak as our centre-back. We had to play Henderson and Fabinho there for a certain amount of time before they even got injured. That area, that season after we won the league, was cursed. Anybody and everybody that played there got injured. Matip, Gomez, Van Dijk got obviously assaulted by Jordan Pickford. Henderson, Fabinho. We had to go into the January window loaning in Kabak, buying Ben Davies, who never went on to make an appearance for Liverpool, which made no sense whatsoever. But then, of course, we had to trust in Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips. It worked out in the long run because we got third. But like I say, it wasn't through a lack of desire. We were still playing all right. It was just that we lacked in other areas because we had to accommodate for a massive hole that was being left by the amount of injuries we picked up. And then in the year after the quad, well, Darwin Núñez missed a bag full of chances. We could have had a lot more points. But at the same time, in saying that, our midfield dropped off massively. And it was evident to see, which is why we went into the summer and we bought 4 new midfielders in. We bought McAllister, we bought Szoboszlai, we bought in Gravenberch, and who else did we buy that year? I swear we bought 4 midfielders, but I can't remember who the 4th one was. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Someone else, but I don't remember who. But I swear we bought 4 midfielders in. And that's why we had to rejuvenate the entire midfield. And that's what we did. And done well the following. Yeah, he did, because we adapted. He realised his mistake in, like I say, the midfield area in particular. And we went out, we bought in 3 or 4 new midfielders. And we changed the game up. Szoboszlai. Did I say Szoboszlai? Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch. No, I think I said Szoboszlai. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember. My brain is hurting. But yeah, don't get me wrong. It's understandable. But I don't think one player is going to change this. Because at least with Klopp, you could see improvement. You could see what we were trying to do. Under Slot, I can't see what we're trying to do because we're playing the same way every single game and expecting the same results or expecting different results. But we can't play like that because we don't know what we're doing. We don't look comfortable. It doesn't look natural. The only time it looks comfortable and natural is when Slot goes, forget my style of play the way you did last season. Oh, look at that. We win games. Great. Who'd have thought it? During Czech Republic and Ireland, there was a Czech fan who blasted sirens every time Irish players stepped up. That threw Ireland off so much they lost their lead in penalties. I watched it. I haven't watched any international football yesterday, to be honest. I didn't watch. I obviously know some of the results, and it's unfortunate for like Northern Ireland, and it's unfortunate for Wales. But yeah, I didn't really watch a lot of the international games yesterday, to be honest. Wales not going to the World Cup either, losing at home to Bosnia. A lot of people said Klopp out during that season. Then he's proven fans wrong. Yeah, and you know what? I keep saying it. On some level, I hope Slot proves me wrong as well. The problem is that at least with Klopp, I understood why the team was playing poorly. I understood why the team wasn't quite firing on all cylinders because we had no centre-backs. Our midfielders were having to play centre-back. Then our midfield got ripped apart. In that season, after the quad, our midfield completely fell apart, and that was the baseline for why we failed, because that is basically the backbone of a Jurgen Klopp system, the midfield. If the midfield is not running around like headless chickens and, absolutely tearing it up, if they're not outrunning the opposition, then they're going to fail. The thing was that they went into the summer and went, right, we need to fix up this midfield, and they did that. The problem with this Arne Slot system is that we had the spine of the team from last year. We just added little bits and pieces to it. It's gone backwards. And it shouldn't have done. The likes of Florian Wirtz should have only added to what we have. The likes of Jeremy Frimpong, okay, he's not got the creativity of a Trent Alexander-Arnold, but the way that he plays, he should be helping Salah to be closer to the goal, to hide some of Salah's weaknesses. But that's obviously not happened. I think Milos Kerkez has certainly improved over the course of the past several months. But again, wasn't used to the best of his ability when he first walked into the club. He was playing as an inverted fullback. The amount of times I called that out, and then suddenly he starts playing much more wider. He's playing better. Who would have thought it? Anybody with half a brain. Like I say, I saw with Jurgen Klopp, I can understand why this team aren't playing well, but it's not for a lack of belief. It's not for a lack of desire to want to play better. It's just they can't. They can't play better than what they are doing right now. With this team, they're not bad players. We know they're not bad players. They shouldn't be finished at their age because most of them are still relatively young, but they are, seemingly, because this system doesn't suit the players. It's not getting any better. I don't think people defending Slot, most Liverpool fans I chat to say Slot out. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying there are some out there that I'm not saying. Obviously, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not painting everybody with the same brush, but there are some Liverpool fans out there that I've seen that want to Klopp out, but they are defending Slot. And I found that really strange. I did find that really strange. Sweden, Poland kickoff game for the World Cup on Tuesday. Who you got? I hope Sweden, in a way, because once Isak recovers from his broken leg, he'll be back. Poland are a waste of time anyway. Poland go to these big tournaments and everybody goes, oh, they could be a dark horse this year. Oh, they could be one to watch this year. They could be a bit of an outsider. And then they do nothing. Poland do nothing in major tournaments. So I'm kind of rooting for Sweden. I'm rooting for Sweden. I'm rooting for Sweden because Poland don't do anything in major tournaments anyway. Big up, Dean. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Hope you have a good rest of your day, my dude. Use lacking areas this season. Oh, you lacking areas this season, left wing and right wing, them positions being your success in the past. In terms of goal scoring, yeah, but now Salah's dropped off a bit and he's become more human, like I say. And Cody Gakpo, honestly, my 2-year-old daughter is better than Cody Gakpo. My 2-year-old daughter could play left wing and she'd be much better than what Cody Gakpo is. Like, I'm not even joking. She'd be so much better than what Cody Gakpo has become. Endo is what... Oh, yes, of course it was. Yes, Endo, of course, because obviously that was the year we were going to get Moises Caicedo, and then we went, Endo. And we were like, what are we doing? And it turned out it was actually a beautiful, beautiful signing. And how could I forget Endo? How could I forget Endo? I am so disgusted with myself right now. You need a ruthless attack. Motile? He's Motile. Isak being let down. I mean, Isak's had his leg broken. I mean, granted, he wasn't great before he had his leg broken, but it wasn't exactly like we were giving him tons of chances and opportunities to actually go and score goals. Like, it wasn't as if we were creating 3 or 4 golden opportunities a game for Isak to take. Like, for the most part, Isak was a bit part player because there was no creativity behind him. There was nobody creating opportunities. Like, it wasn't necessarily down to Isak. It was mainly down to how poor we were at creating chances for him. Hopefully that changes when he comes back, but it doesn't exactly help other areas of the pitch, mainly defensively and midfield. Slot could buy 3 or 4 players and change season like Klopp. I mean, he did that last summer and look what happened. He took a title-winning team, changed 3 or 4 players, and we got worse. And I hate to think what could happen next year if he does the same thing. Like I say, if we were showing any sign of improvement anywhere other than set pieces, I'd be like, okay, maybe there is something here. But there's not. We've been saying it all season, like, this is where we should kick on. This is where we should improve. This is hopefully where we begin to see the real Liverpool shine. And there's been nothing. There's no sign of improvement. There's no sign of getting better. There's only signs of getting worse. We've not improved. The only area of the team that we have improved is our set pieces, is our attacking from set pieces. We are actually a threat now from set pieces on a more on a more consistent enough basis than what we have been previously. And it's not that much of a great feat, considering every other team in the Premier League is now more of a threat from set pieces. Every other team's more of a threat from set pieces than now than what they were previously. So, again, it's not that great of an achievement when you actually put it into context. Is Tuchel a German spy for picking Spence over Trent? To be honest, I couldn't care less about England. Couldn't care less about England right now. We'll see how they do in the major tournament. That's it. These international games are super fun this week because there is something on the line. Direct World Cup qualification. Yeah, for the most part, other teams aren't other teams still playing friendlies. Aren't other teams still playing? Yeah, like England have got Uruguay tonight in a friendly. Fantastic. Then we've got Japan on Tuesday. Again, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about friendlies. It doesn't matter. We're not going to learn anything from them. They're just ways to add more games to an already growing calendar of games. That doesn't help anyone. Doesn't help any club. Doesn't help any players. Doesn't help anyone. So they are what they are, really. For most of us. For qualification, fine. But it's not great. I'm actually interested more so for next season when they introduce that 3-week period of international football rather than just have to break up the season every now and again. That like month or so of international football might actually be all right. I don't know. I mean, now that I've said that, I can probably imagine this getting bored within the opening week or so, but it might be better in the long run than have the season start, then stop because of international football, start again, then stop again, then start again, then stop again, then have a nice lengthy run till March, and then we have to stop again. Might be better. Might be better. I don't know. Anyway, the main bulk of this video, like I say, Mo Salah is leaving. Arne Slot may be staying. Like I said, the only thing with the Slot stuff is that there are contradictory reports out there, especially in Germany, that are suggesting that Xabi Alonso is very interested in becoming the Liverpool head coach. It's probably going to happen in the summer. There's already been contact allegedly between players and Alonso's representatives and some people at Liverpool and Alonso's representatives. And I'm more inclined to believe the sources in Germany, because the source in Germany that is running with the Xabi Alonso story was the same source that ran with the Florian Wirtz stuff. And on the Florian Wirtz stuff, he was right on the money every single time. So that gives me a lot of hope and a lot of confidence that maybe, just maybe, Liverpool are planning to get rid of Slot in the summer and are ready to bring in Xabi Alonso as his successor. Not confirmed, not saying it's going to happen, not saying that it is set in stone, but I am more inclined to believe the German outlets on the Slot story than I am the UK-based ones. Big up Leo's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Fingers crossed, Slot does go, though. It needed to happen a long time ago, but better late than never. He needs to go. Alonso is right there for the taking. It's a massive opportunity. I don't want us to miss the boat on this one because I have a horrible feeling that if we miss the boat on this one, someone like a Manchester City or a Manchester United could certainly pick up where we drop the ball. So I'm hoping that we don't. Anyway, I've rambled on. This has been awesome, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Do me a massive favor, people. Smash a like on the video on the way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and be greatly appreciated. And, of course, I encourage each and every single one of you to get involved in the now comment section down below. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on what you have said, on what has been said in this video, anything that I've talked about, or maybe you have any kind of topics for future videos and live streams that you want to discuss. Let me know in that comment section down below. Thank you all so much for the love and support on the channel. Thank you all for getting involved today. Big up the chat as always. You guys are absolutely awesome. To each and every single one of you, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.